because I could. I have the footage. I have every right to, but I think they're just going to be mad about it.
We're opening up the room, guys.
Okay.
All right. So keep it clean.
Yeah, I'm usually pretty honest in these, but I'm not.
Yeah. No, I liked your style when you were broadcasting. I was like, that's so casual, because we do this and then we do another one called, we just started it, Dances with, well, we obviously stream all our events, which is the main thing that we're doing, which gets a lot of numbers and they're big events, but we're trying to produce more just like one-off events. And one of the ones we do is Dances with Catchers, where we just interview like development executives and agents and about pitching and stuff like that. And it's much, it's organized like a TV program would be, where two people are sitting next to each other, blah, blah. But the casualness of yours was way, almost more on point with the medium.
I learned something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it wouldn't have been mine.
Let's go ahead and start.
Okay, we're here with April Wade, and this is the Brown Bag Lunch with NATPE. We are hanging out. She's an independent producer involved in the online experiment in filmmaking. The overall project she's working on now is called Concessionaires Must Die. And the new media analog is The Making of CMD, no spaces. The Making of CMD, which airs here on Stickcam. So today we're interviewing April about the project and the new media strategy being implemented behind it. She's certainly an innovator in this space. So we're quite curious about your background and how you built your career here in Los Angeles. Can you weave us a story real quick about how you ended up where you're at and what it is that you do?
Ooh, yeah. This has been a decade. I've been in LA a decade. I'm not supposed to admit that. You're supposed to be new all the time. I just came here. Isn't that crazy?
It's so easy. I just, you know,
I know, right?
I got here yesterday.
Everything. Yeah, no, I'm an actor. That's all quite frankly, that's all I ever want to do, and that's all I want to be. And I started acting when I was like, 3. I took my first class when I was 8. It's all I want to do. When I moved here, I saw an opportunity to open an acting studio. So I did that, and I owned and operated an acting studio for about 6 years. Focus was more on the craft than I think it is right now, currently, just generally in the acting studios in LA. And I learned through doing that I knew how to put things together. It's funny because my aunt actually reminds me, when I was doing shows on my grandmother's front lawn when I was 5, I used to sell tickets and make the program.
Wow.
So like I think I've always had that producer person in me too. So I started producing. I've done 7 independent feature films. And when I first started producing...
7, that's quite a bit. And
yeah,
how much time?
Sometimes people watch them, sometimes they don't. In about 5 years.
Okay.
I mean, some of them were great. Like I did a project that took the audience award at Slam Dance, and that was really exciting. And I did a project that was #1 on iTunes Independent for a while. So like, I had varying degrees of success and complete anonymity in producing, and really started noticing, as everyone did, like we all rushed to the new media space and went, what's going on here? People are watching content online, how do I deal with that? And obviously I did some of the more traditional new media type stuff, and just kind of wanted to keep pushing the envelope, because the internet's changing and evolving, and that's super exciting. So for me, I want to figure out how to change and evolve with it. So that's how I came to be doing Concessionaires and the previous project Kill Cam, and sort of what's next with where we're going. And I fully drank the new media Kool-Aid.
Sounds like it. If you're talking a lot about the format being part of the artistic process,
right,
instead of the traditionally producing it in the same way and just modifying the distribution angles. So first, can you tell us a little bit about your most recent project prior to Concessionaires?
Yeah, so at first it was, I'll be honest, at first it was kind of a gimmick. We thought, okay, let's take a movie, deconstruct it, and have the audience help us create things. Because everyone's doing all this crowdsourcing and crowdfunding, and it's all about the crowd interacting. And I felt like interacting wasn't really interacting, It's like putting a video and then having a whole bunch of people comment on it. Like, that's not interacting. That's, maybe if I comment back, but like that's not getting to control any of the story. So we took out certain parts of the story, namely the parts where people got killed, and we streamed that live with live actors talking and interacting directly with the audience. And what started as what I thought would be a cool, fun, different way to make something ended up being one of the most creative, emotional experiences that have ever happened in my life. And we got to know the audience, and they got to know us, and it was so much more than just killer, 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 and they actually wanted to solve the riddles, and they wanted to play the game, and not just the physical game that we'd set up, but the emotional game.
So what were some of the decisions that the audience made? Just a few of the more important ones.
It was fun because they didn't necessarily make decisions per se. Like, we had them do a Twitter campaign to try to save their favorite character, Lenny. And they tweeted, but we made it pretty impossible to do, so we killed Lenny anyway. Looking back, I was actually told that that was like a really interesting moment for them, that no matter, you know, that we were still telling the story when it was all said and done. But also, I mean, we let them decide whether we lobotomized a character, and we let the audience tell us in the moment whether they wanted mercy or madness. So they decided madness, and we saved Ralph for a couple weeks until we did a very special Christmas with Ralph, and we brought him back and killed him as a Christmas gift. But
So were you overall happy with their involvement, or did you ever feel like, oh, it could have gone better, or it would have been worse, and how it was great that they affected the story?
it's like a piece of art, you know what I mean? And I don't mean that to be pretentious, but like it is what it is. It is what was made, you know. So sometimes when the comments were negative, or when things got out of hand or whatever, like that was part of the experiment. That was part of what was being made. You know, when people were lovely, when people were awful, all of that was part of just figuring out what the story would be. And I think the biggest thing is not that you have to do what people say, but that you have to listen to them. And you have to acknowledge them. And if I'm going to be invested and invest my time in a project where someone's telling me that they can talk to me, then I want to be heard. And I want to be acknowledged. So that was really our focus.
So if anyone has any questions for April, you can tweet us them with the hashtag NATPE, N-A-T-P-E, or just ask them in the Stickcam chat box, and I'm sure she can answer your questions about producing or acting or anything you might have in that sphere. So can you tell us about how you got started working on the Concessionaires Must Die?
Yeah. So I had a whole bunch of projects sort of that I was doing anyway, because when you're a producer, you usually have like 15 things at once. And Concessionaires was one of my favorite ones because, to me, the general concept behind it and the reason we started creating it was simple and accessible. You know, it's basically Empire Records set in an old movie theater. So for anyone that loves movies, which is usually people that watch movies, and then there's this huge comic book bent to it. Our lead character and specifically is all about comic books, and there's such a great community for that. Mm-hmm. And so I loved the project, but after doing the live streaming project, I just was like, I can't make another just regular movie like that. It just didn't seem interesting to me. Like, our idea with the distribution of it was always to be something creative, always to be, you know, let's target old movie theaters, let's target comic book stores, you know, a la Kevin Smith style, and really like get into the community. But the making of it was just so bland at that point, you know, when the audience is helping you tell the story and giving you moments that you never ever could have dreamt on your own, ever. Why would I go back to just making a regular movie? It seems silly. So I sat down with the director and I told her that. I said, I am having a problem getting motivated about something that I like very much. And she said, well, why don't we let the audience help us? Or why don't we show them everything we're doing? And then promptly went, oh wait, there's implications for that. That's scary, I don't know. Because it is a little bit when you're trying to make a movie that you are actually making with an actual director who's making, you know, decisions on behalf of the movie to make a movie good.
I'm sure there's people are protecting their creative control of things a lot more.
Right, and it's been a big debate for us. It's like, to what extent are we going to allow the audience to help us with it, and to what extent aren't we? And so far, I have to say I'm super excited about how it's been almost 100% positive. the responses that we're getting, the way we've been able to integrate talking to the audience and not talking to the audience. No one gets frustrated when our director makes a director decision, because we've been super active about listening to them.
Mm-hmm.
We actually held auditions last night. It was our second round of auditions, and we opened it up. I was watching the chat room the entire time. So when they responded to an actor, it seemed to be very synergetic to when we responded to an actor.
Very interesting. So what other parts are they participating in other than casting right now?
Oh, everything. They watched as we made sponsor calls, and some didn't work and some did, and they were incredibly supportive, which is neat. I mean, it's one thing when it's just you and your other producer sitting there going, you know, we'll get them next time.
Cold calling is awkward enough.
it's
I can't
horrible.
imagine being on camera.
Oh boy, you have no idea. Like, and I think part of it is me and my partners are just kind of willing to be who we are, and so we're just saying, you know, like, hey, this, I don't know if this is gonna work, guys, or damn, that didn't, you know, and they've been incredibly like cheering us on and very supportive. So that was a part of it that I think a year ago I never would have anticipated, to be honest. Because if you go in a lot of chat rooms, they're not always supportive. But I think that's up to us to set the tone for that. And
so have you found that because you are more open to their input, that they are more supportive than they would be if, because most people, even on YouTube, who have huge followings, will still say 90% of the comments are negative. Because people just want to get up there and there's a forum and there's someone popular and they want to break them down. It doesn't seem like you're experiencing the same thing, even though you have huge online engagement.
not really. And I mean, I think that's partially because a live streaming generally asks people to be present and be themselves. So even the people that aren't putting their faces on camera, you know, we're identifying their personality through, you know, their handle and who they are and the kind of questions they ask, and it's not as anonymous as a literally anonymous comment. You know, so I think we're getting more people's true selves, frankly, because we're talking to them in real time. So it's not, I don't think it has anything to do with me being more real or more positive. I'm actually quite self-deprecating, especially through the process of like calling sponsors and all of that, you know, so like I don't think it's about that per se, as it is about not letting them be anonymous.
So you're calling sponsors, is that the only way that you're funding the project, or what is your funding strategy?
So on the outset, we put a little donate button on the side of our blog spot, but I haven't hit it really hard, and I haven't asked people to do it, and it's strange because content for free is just it's just been done. I mean, that's what the model is. That's what people expect. They do not expect to have to pay for their content online, or even on an app. I mean, if an app's 99 cents, I'll buy it. If it's $3, no, it's going to be really important to me, you know. And I think what I'm trying to do right now with the model of crowdfunding is make sure that it's really important for them. So I'm less concerned about hitting that thing and saying, hey, give us your $5 now. I want to make sure that they want to give the $5. And seeing as we're just sort of getting our bearings, I think once we have a table read, once we're actually shooting, I mean, we're going to be doing 14-hour days on set. These people are going to spend a lot of time with us, and they might be considerably more invested than they are now.
Sure.
When we're doing the not
When you
as
say,
fun
I'm hungry,
production meetings.
I need some lunch, can you donate some things?
Exactly. Or
yeah.
hey, my director, America Young, uses this all the time. She goes, if they want an elephant, and it makes sense in the story to have an elephant, then we're going to be like, do you want to pay for that elephant? Which is fun because, like, you know, producers have been doing that to directors forever. Now we get to actually, you know, ask the audience to participate in that. So.
So how much are you trying to raise total?
Enough to pay for food right now. I mean, it's a strange medium for me because so much of the sponsorship, so much of the crowdsourcing is completely untested. I personally don't like Indiegogo or Kickstarter campaigns because I get hit up like twice a day by friends and family, and you know, my friends and family have already supported me to the nth degree, and I don't want to reach out to people within my circle. I want to give content and value to people outside of my circle so that they'll want to participate. So because we don't really know how some of these models are working, and we're very much so testing out sponsors and waiting for that 1 or 2 or 3 sponsors to jump on board and be serious about trying something new and innovative, we're making it basically a lot on donations as well, because the hope is that because we have so much engagement, because our numbers are big, at this point we've done a few like boring production sessions, and we have 400,000 views. So for an advertiser to be able to have us, the power of me saying I like your brands will hopefully resonate with our audience. So I'm confident that moving forward that eventually we'll have someone who's ballsy enough to take the chance on this kind of stuff. But I also feel like the theater we need to shoot in, the camera equipment, that kind of stuff is sort of a really obvious tie-in for sponsorship. So a lot of the general production costs and needs that you know, the physical stuff, I really feel like food sponsors, things like that, are going to jump on board. So.
And how has your audience growth been going? Perhaps it would go along with sponsorships. Do you see it moving fast? Was it like a hockey stick at a particular point? Or?
It's still very, very new, but what's exciting for me is last night we broadcast at a sort of strange time. So we didn't get the big, like, you know, just people coming in and out and like being crazy, you know, just clicking on and off. We had a lot of engagement that I hadn't had since Kill Camp with this project. So not only were there familiar faces, which I loved, you know, seeing people from the last project, but also we're starting to have other conversations and they're starting to meet each other. And that to me is a huge success. So it's funny that our numbers are sort of growing, and we came out of the gate pretty high with our numbers and our viewership, and I think we'll continue to move in that direction up. But the thing that I love is I'm starting personally to recognize users, and users that are repeat users that are like, sorry I tuned in late, that we know, that we're like, oh cool, here's what you missed. That community is forming, and while it's not something that I think anyone can really like, you can't put it on paper, it's not a number, it's emotional. It's the fact that people are coming in and
you're building a relationship.
Exactly.
Which could happen in a cold call, or it could happen this way. We do have a question from the audience.
Oh, and you're giggling about it, so I'm nervous.
Someone likes your big shirt.
Oh,
where
thanks.
can I get one? You have butterflies on it.
I did. I got this at Target, and I'm pretty sure I got it and I'm pretty sure I got it a year ago. So good luck. I just thought it would make me look like an artist today. So.
There you go.
Well done.
Target.
I don't know, but I keep holding like this because I don't want you to think that I'm fat under this big shirt.
No, I don't think they think that.
I'm such an actress.
So yeah, just chat. We're almost wrapping up, but just chat your questions. If you have any other further ones, or send them to our hashtag NATPE.
I gotta be honest, it's really strange for me because I'm used to, when I do like live streaming, being like in the computer, like my face is in the computer. So
yeah.
But I trust and love you guys, so.
Well, Jack is a master of it.
Yeah.
So you should trust him.
Thank you.
So, just given the current state of the project, I know you're just getting started, and there's a lot of things up in the air. When do you think you'll be done?
That's it. So when we started out, we were like really unsure. We're like, we have no idea what this live thing's gonna do. Now we know. We know that it makes things longer, because, you know, a typical casting session, we're seeing less people because we're talking about them more. In a production meeting, we're talking about the production less because we're going off on tangents talking to the audience. So like, there's a lot of things that are expanding the time that we're spending on things. We hope to be shooting in late July. It just sort of depends on some people, because one of my producers, Michelle Kaufer, she's fantastic, and I'm working with her on a couple of other things. She's amazing, but she's shooting a documentary on homeless youth. And that's wrapping up, and it's fantastic. It's been a long time in the making, and I'm super proud of her. And if that happens to wrap up at the end of July, that's more important. And then my director, America Young, she's actually on Stanley's new channel doing interviews for comic books and things like that. And she sort of always has her hand in certain cookie jars. So if anything like that blows up, we get pushed. And I'm working on what could be the next Kill Camp-like thing. And that, that could push this. However, I think it wouldn't just push it, it would like be very synergetic with it. It would be a different, it's a different view of the production process.
So where can your fans go to learn more about you, find out what you're doing, what next projects roll out? How should they reach out to you if they have a question?
Actor April Wade is my Twitter following. Actor. I like universalizing it. Actress is so, makes me feel dizzy or something. I'm an actor, I act.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Actor April Wade is my Twitter handle. AprilWade.com is my website, which I haven't updated in a little while. And but this particular project, and this is sort of, I think, the best way to reach, I think, any of us involved in it, because we're super accessible, and that was the thought with this, is let's be accessible, is through our blog, which I write customarily every once in a while. So that's the makingofcmd.blogspot.com.
Makingofcmd.blogspot.com.
And everything kind of lives on that that site. It's been good for me because I'm actually literally talking about the process of making a movie with people that, you know, generally no one gets to see this part, which is why I don't have a solid production schedule, because I don't have a solid financing schedule. And we were a little like not sure if we wanted to go out of the gate doing that, but this is the part no one sees.
And this is the reality.
Everyone sees when you get the money, and then you're going from there. No one sees the process, all of the no's and all of the yeses that lead up to making the movie. So, you know, we don't have a traditional schedule because no one does until they get the money.
Very true. So for all you junior producers out there, it's definitely will be a learning process to follow.
Yeah.
The concessionaires must die. And so thanks for tuning in to this Brown Bag Lunch, sponsored by NATPE. We have an upcoming PitchCon event, June 7th and 8th, for all you junior producers looking to pitch to companies like CAA, BET, A&E, and for all those who register, My Damn Channel has signed on to look at your video reels for possible distribution on their platform and possible funding, and you can find out more about that on our website. All right, well, thanks for tuning in.
Thanks. Yay.